We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Hello and welcome to High School Famous, the podcast raised by nuns and reared by priests. I'm Sean.
I'm Matt.
What do you think of that one?
Double entendre.
It's basically brilliant.
I'm kind of a genius.
Basic brilliance. Well, what's the haps there, mister?
Nothing.
Nothing, he says.
There's been no haps. It's been a pretty bland week over here.
Did you hear about, are you keeping up with the
Kardashians?
James
No.
Webb Space Telescope updates on did you hear about the piece of sausage that was captured?
What?
Let me pull it up.
Space sausage?
Well, so there was some French scientist that was he was trying to make a joke.
Okay.
And he posted a close-up image of chorizo.
Right.
Let me show you it real quick.
A Frenchman posted a close-up photo of a Mexican sausage. Okay.
Yeah. And he claimed
so
it
looks
was
like some sort of a red planet.
Yeah, so he claimed it was a close-up image of let me find the name of it. Proxima Centauri, the star that's closest to our sun.
Right.
And he said something like, "Oh, such amazing detail! Every day, new worlds are being revealed." And like he posted this thing as a joke.
Okay.
And you know he has like 91,000 followers, and so a bunch of people saw this, thought it was a real image from the telescope.
Right.
And then he later on revealed that it was all a joke and it was a piece of sausage.
A cross section of a chorizo sausage.
But of course, I'm sure most people took it as just the joke that it was meant to be. But of course, there were a lot of people, especially those in the science community, that got upset by this tweet and decided to complain and sort of come after him a little bit.
How dare you? How dare you make light of this very serious thing we're dealing with right now?
I know. And he apologized for misleading everyone.
Right.
So, but sorry to those who were misled. He claimed it was a scientist joke.
Well, I guess it would have been funny if it was like it was a close up of that, but you could also see like a piece of toast or something just slightly off of the shot.
There's like a corner of toast there.
Yeah. I don't know what toast came to my head as the side dish to chorizo.
Just sausage. Yeah, you'd like to combine
rice,
sausage and toast a lot.
Yeah, I'm always down in sausage and toast,
Yeah.
by the fistfuls.
Yeah. Which is weird. You don't even use utensils.
I don't even cook it. It's not even, it's raw toast. Just
raw
bread.
Yeah, toast. I mean, bread is technically raw toast, I guess.
Yep.
Even though it's already something that's already cooked, though. You bake the bread to make it bread, so it's not raw.
It's raw toast.
It's undercooked toast.
It's uncooked toast.
Uncooked toast, but not raw toast.
Yeah, it's rare toast.
It's sure
if you're using steak cooking terms.
But you still cook the steak. I mean,
warm bread is just
soft bread,
medium rare toast.
So, do you say that you put the ingredients together and you bake the loaf of bread?
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as referring it to bread, it's baked bread. But maybe as far as referring to it as toast, it is raw toast.
It would be raw toast. Yeah, but baked bread is a funny thing because it's not bread until it's baked. So why would you even call it baked bread?
You wouldn't have to specify that it's baked
just
bread.
Dough.
It's dough before that point.
Yeah.
So dough is raw bread and bread is raw toast.
Yep.
And
a cheese sandwich is a raw grilled cheese.
And you like to raw dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm deep throating my chorizo.
Now, is the chorizo that you eat cooked? Because when you said it was raw, at first I thought you were talking about the sausage, but then you went right to the toast being raw. So it threw me off a bit.
The chorizo, I mean, it's at least boiled for safety.
Sure. So it's like if you buy a package of chorizo that you can, it's already prepared.
I mean, I think it's
fully
you could
cooked.
probably eat. Yeah, you can probably eat it. You can
eat it without cooking
raw chorizo because I think all the ingredients are kind of pre-cooked when you like sausage is always like pre-cooked.
Well, because you can get like those brats that aren't cooked already.
Yeah,
and you
but
have to cook those to eat those. But you can get fully cooked like brats, I think, where you could just pull it out of the fridge and eat it if you want.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good, but you could do it.
I don't know that they sell chorizo in raw form or if it's already fully cooked and safe to eat out of the package without heating it up. I'm not often in the market for chorizo.
I've bought it quite a few times, but I've never thought about eating it like straight from the store without cooking it. I've never really looked into if you can eat it without cooking it. Chorizo is one of those things where you don't put it on a bun. You typically like cook it up and put it like in something. Like
you cut it up, you slice it up, and it's in some kind of
or usually whenever we've cooked it here, it's more like you kind of like chop it up like a hamburger, like hamburger meat almost to make like tacos or add it to something, you know?
Gotcha. So I'm going to report today at the time of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
It is Sunday.
Yeah.
What, the 7th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the last time I showered.
Why are we even bringing this up?
I'll explain. Was Wednesday the 3rd.
Good God, dude. You're 4 days ripe?
Reason being, my shower is upstairs.
Uh-huh.
I showered. I came downstairs. I noticed some water staining in the ceiling.
Okay.
So something in the upstairs bathroom, most likely the shower, because I noticed it after I showered. But the person said it might be where the toilet and the shower, like drain piping, like connect or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
You were like where the shower,
where the toilet and the shower meet. Yeah. So I reported it on Wednesday night, and then someone came by on Thursday to look at it, but they said they'd have to get a plumber to fix anything because they said they can't like just look and see any obvious thing that would cause a leak on the outside.
Right.
So it's some sort of piping issue. So I guess no one. He said he was going to call me later that day to tell me when I could expect a plumber to come.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't call me. Friday rolls through, so he came Thursday. So Friday rolls through, nothing. Saturday, I finally call back and I say, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And then I was told to contact the emergency maintenance line and leave a message there. They don't consider it emergency if it's not an active leak. So if just sitting here with the water turned off, if nothing's just like if a water line broke and water's just spewing out without you being able to do anything about it, that's an active leak and they would come right away. This is not considered an active leak because if I'm not running the water, nothing happens. So, but I was told by those guys that there was a plumber around on Friday or Thursday, one of those 2 days, and they thought that they came here. Like the regular maintenance people thought that the plumber had come here, but no one ever came here. So since today's Sunday, well, I talked to them yesterday. They said, well, since it's Saturday and tomorrow's Sunday, the earliest someone's going to be able to come out is Monday. So that's where I'm at.
Ripe and greasy.
Yeah. Now I just sort of wet my hair and I washed my face before this just because I needed to. But Leo is quite pleased with this inability to shower.
I don't get it. Like, I'm sure I was the same way as a little kid of just like not wanting to take showers and stuff, but I don't understand it as an adult. Like, why do little boys hate showering so much?
I didn't care much. I remember I wasn't even that great at washing my face. I used to just take put shampoo in my hair, and then kind of like use some of that to scrub on my face, I think, when I was younger.
Right.
And it didn't work well.
No,
I don't recall having
great for your face.
I don't recall having a general like disdain for showering, or it's like I wanted to avoid showering, but I just know I didn't wash myself very well when I did. So this has been weird. If I really get desperate, I can go to the office where there's the gym and there's showers there, I guess.
Yeah.
So I could just bring my stuff and shower there. But
like, oh, Sean, you're back? Like, no.
No.
Just using the shower.
Just trying to be clean. Yeah, so that means they're also going to have to, because the water stain on the ceiling has gotten worse. So they're going to have to fix that too. I'm sure that's not going to be a high priority for them though. Not as much as the fixing the leak. But I'm sure the next day they're not going to have people cutting and replacing ceiling drywall or whatever.
So
and
you'll
painting
have a nice,
and all that.
Awesome stain in your ceiling for a while.
Yeah. It's not too far from a light fixture too.
Oh, wonderful.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm definitely not running any water up there if I can avoid it, which I can because I have a second bathroom.
And that's the only shower, bath, anything?
Yep. The other bathroom is just a half bath. It just has a sink and a toilet and a mirror.
Ugh.
So
yeah, you don't want to have to do like a sink bath because that's not fun. Just a washcloth and just like.
No, we don't want to do that. We've had Leo do that before for some reason. It has another name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, a whore bath.
Oh,
that's when you just sort of wash yourself off with a rag. You've not heard this term.
I have heard that term, just not for a long time. When I worked, I don't really want to name the company, but the job we both worked at for a while in the giant warehouse.
Oh, yes.
When I worked there again, after you were long gone from there, I chose not to come back. Woman came in with a trucker. She got picked up.
Okay.
Yeah, she got picked up on the way kind of thing.
Nice.
And she came in to use the bathroom without permission. And somebody went in to use the bathroom and she was in there like fully naked washing herself in a sink.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's awful.
I don't think you ever told me that.
I think I blocked that out until just now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, it was, what is that, a regressive memory or whatever?
Suppressed?
Yeah, what would a regressive memory be?
It devolves into something less than?
Yeah, apparently that story was way worse, and that's just what I...
You wish it was you, wasn't it, that walked in on her, I bet?
Hell no.
Did you see it?
I wish she walked in on me.
Oh, because you were...
I was doing the same thing
in your office. Doing the same thing. Not in the bathroom, in your office.
Yeah.
Did you see her at all?
No, I heard about it after the fact.
Like you didn't even... Yeah. So you didn't know if it was like...
Because it was in the... Yeah, because I was in the secure part of the warehouse.
Woman.
Yeah, because that was before I was a supervisor, I think. So I was in the secure part of the warehouse, and that happened in the non-secure part of the warehouse.
Well, so, yeah, not surprised.
Yeah, oh yeah, she
definitely
wouldn't have made it into the secure half.
Was that the most exciting thing that ever happened there?
Probably, yeah.
Aside from any just fun stuff you and I conjured up while we were there at the same time.
Yeah, when we both worked there and then had other friends that came and worked there, that was usually pretty fun at work. But yeah, after that, it was a job. That's what most jobs are. Yeah, it's just kind of a job. Yeah. So other than not being able to shower for 4+ days, anything else interesting happening? I've just been I've been on recovery. I'm fine now. But yeah, so it's been long enough at this point. Yeah, I think today marks day 10 of it all. So but Leo still has to go until like Wednesday. Okay. Or Tuesday, one of the two. Because he tested positive a few days after. Yep. So mine was a Thursday and his was the Sunday after that. Okay. So today marks one full week, Sunday to Sunday for him. Right. But he's doing. It's pretty much like he doesn't have anything right now. He has a little bit of a cough going on, but that's it. So I expect that he will be all set in a few days. Just in time to celebrate a couple more weeks before school starts. Yep. His school starts very soon, actually. It's the 23rd. Oh, he starts end of August? I don't know why there's this insistence with some schools on starting before Labor Day. Yeah, we always started after. Yeah, it was always the Tuesday or whatever after Labor Day weekend. But his old school would start like
that like a week later than this school. Like, well, there's 1 week left of August he would start, but this is
it seems dumb
a week
to
and a
start.
half.
Seems dumb to start a week before, like the week before Labor Day. Like, hey, come to school for a week, then have a 3-day weekend, then come back to school for a partial week.
Yeah, and it's not like he gets out in May or something. The last day of school is like June 7th.
So it's not like the same time. Do they get extra time off during the year or something?
Well, the other school, there was a lot of extra days off, so I can kind of get it. But this one, I didn't look through the full calendar, but I know it's not going to have the same time off for certain holidays in October and stuff that his old school did. So I'm not aware of any extra days off for anything in particular. So I would guess or assume that it kind of has the regular days off that any other public school would have. So I don't understand why it has to start so early. It doesn't make. I don't like it. I mean, the only real reason is you feel like you have less time to get prepared.
Yeah.
This is our first time having a list of supplies that we have to go buy, like school supplies. So this is our first time school shopping.
Interesting.
School
shopping was pretty much fun.
Well, I mean, yeah,
notebooks and pens and school clothes. Fun for the kid because they're not spending any of the money. For the parents, it's like, oh, god damn, this gets expensive.
Well, the funny thing is, Leo wasn't super jazzed about it. Sarah loves school shopping. She was always loved it, and so she was excited to take Leo school shopping. But then because of me, he got COVID and he stuck with me for a long time. So I took him. So I kind of robbed her of that. But she's like, oh, next year. I'll get to do it next year. Yeah, I always liked getting new school supplies.
A bunch of cool, stuff.
Well, he needed this is going to be boring for anybody. He needed new shoes and a new backpack. And, obviously with not purchasing school supplies for him ever before, there's no we didn't have any folders or binders or any of that crap. So.
Right.
Erasers. Yeah, it said specifically yellow highlighters, but I only saw packages of 5 highlighters where there's one green, one pink, one yellow, one blue, so I had to buy 2 packages of two multi-packs of highlighters just so I could get 2 yellow ones out of the package.
Couldn't find just single yellow ones, really?
I didn't look very hard. I was in the school supply area. I know there's a separate just sort of home office area that I probably had.
You know what you could have done, Sean?
Ordered some?
You could have gotten all of that stuff on Amazon easily.
True, but this was it was a good reason to get out of the house because we had both been just in here for a week. And the second thing is now I know it's here. I picked it out. I have it. I had to get some other things at the store anyway, so it was just let's just get all this crap done and call it a day. So the only thing I'm waiting on is some clothes. He has a uniform to wear, so he has to.
Oh, fancy!
He has to. I had to order pants that fit the criteria, that fit the guidelines.
Okay, so it's a uniform to an extent. It's a dress code.
Well, you have to have a shirt that has the school's logo on it. So for that, you had to go to this uniform store and you order the shirts.
Gotcha.
But they also have pants and shorts and stuff you can order off of there too. But everything's so backed up, supplies are so backed up. So right now we ordered, I think, 5 shirts and we've gotten 1. So
just enough to get them through.
By the time the school year starts, he might have just 1 shirt that he has to wear every day and wash maybe once or twice a week or every night. But hopefully the rest of the shirts will come soon.
Hopefully he doesn't get it too dirty that you have to wash it every single night or anything.
Yeah, well, I would almost prefer it get washed every night, not for the longevity of the shirt, but just for being clean.
For the fact that little boys are nasty and smelly and gross.
Yeah, and luckily he will be changing. Like to shower. I know. Luckily he'll be changing into a different, some gym clothes, so he won't be wearing. To my knowledge, because there's guidelines on athletic wear as well. So I would assume he's not wearing his school logoed shirt in gym also.
Right.
I just got him some white t-shirts for that.
Interesting.
So that's what I've been up to.
Sort of fancy school for fancy kids.
Well, I mean, it is. But I think it's cheaper than the last school. And the cool part is if you want him there before and after, the other school you'd have to register for that and pay for that extra.
Right.
This is free.
Oh.
And I could even drop him off a little bit earlier than the other school. So I might be able to keep my somewhat earlier working hours.
Nice.
Instead of having to switch to starting at 8:30 during the school year. Plus, I might have to go back into the office the end of next month.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Well, the company
talked about that a while ago.
Well, the company and the union came to an agreement to offer another work from home extension.
Okay.
But what's always been in place is any management of any individual center has had the option to just not allow it or not participate in the work from home offer.
Right.
So this time, our management has decided not to go forward with it. And they're saying that everyone's just going to return back to the office as planned by like September 21st or something like that.
It seems weird to me because it seems like, and I guess I don't really know all the ins and outs of it, but I feel like it would be cheaper for them to let people work from home.
It would in a sense. Well, the thing is, the only way it would be cheaper, I think, is if, well, first of all, like facilities wouldn't get used, like bathrooms and stuff would need to be. I mean, there are people that never worked from home. There have been people that have remained in the office the whole time, but it's very skeleton crew. There's like nobody there. So yes, it would increase the amount of like toiletries being used in the bathrooms.
Right.
But and then I guess electricity being used to run all the computers.
Mm-hmm.
That would be about it as far as I could.
Well, because I guess my thoughts would always be like you typically rent out this giant place. If it's a big place with tons of people in it, a big office, you're gonna have a large facility that you're paying a lot of money for every month. So if you have most of your people start working from home, then you downgrade your office to the size you need just to house the people that aren't going to work from home. And now you've lost all that fucking overhead.
But then if people decide to return to the office, then they have to adjust their capacity.
Well, yeah, I think you'd have to basically make it of like, hey, if you decide that you're working from home, you are working from home. Like, that's it. Right.
So the floors of the building that we occupy, they're leased out to a certain point. So they have not been able to reduce the space that they're using. There's just a bunch of empty cubicles and like 6 people there. I don't know how many people are there, but so now that's always been the case. If you decided to work from home, but then you decided to return to the office and change your mind, then you couldn't start working from home again. You're like, you came back, you're in the office now.
Right.
So, but as far as like right now, the people that are working in the office that never work from home, they could decide tomorrow, yeah, I want to work from home now until September. But so that option is still open to them because they did not go home and then return.
Right.
So, but there have been a couple other places, like I know there's one in Texas where they already made people return to the office and like a third of their staff is out because they all have COVID now. And it's like, if you are not vaccinated and you're exposed, you still have to just to come to work. Like, no, I'm sorry. If you're not vaccinated and you're exposed, then you go home and you isolate for your 5 days or whatever. But if you're vaccinated and and someone you work with get tested positive, you are supposed to still just come in every day.
Yep. Until you show, unless you show symptoms.
Yeah.
And then then you test. And if you're still negative, you still go to work.
Yeah. And so it's just been a big mess. And so obviously the union is not pleased with this decision to deny the option to continue to work from home.
Right.
So they're asking that everyone fill out this thing and send emails to leadership and all this and that, explaining why you think working from home is still necessary and important for safety and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we will see if that works or has any effect. The funny thing is the people, the upper management, they were talking to everyone as though they seemed like they were still in favor of supporting working from home. And they even said, somebody said like, then their tune started to change as it got closer to this time that they were going to announce that people had returned. They were starting to say, well, wouldn't it be great to see everyone and be able to gather around the water cooler and talk to your coworkers?
Like, I'm good.
And somebody said, well, we could gather everybody up and meet in the park or something. There's this park that we would hold these little summer things in.
Mm-hmm.
And they even said a week before that, they said, well, that would be a little bit risky to have everyone gather all together in the park like that outside. So they considered that risky. And then a week later, they're announcing, no, we're going to make everybody come back to the office and be there 8 hours a day, sitting next to everyone that you work around. So it seems like somebody must be saying, no, we're not going to allow this anymore. They have to come back. We're already planning for it, so we're not going to change the plans again. Right. And everyone's just going to come back to work. And I think the people that that speak to the union and other people directly, they're saying, yeah, well, I feel like they just have to say, well, this is the company's plan. And they can they're no longer saying like, no, we really support working from home and we want this to happen. Now they're just saying, well, this is the company's direction. So,
right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, you're someone who's worked in the office this whole time. So it's not like
I've never, my life personally literally did not change throughout any of the pandemic. So.
There are a couple things like I would like to get this computer stuff off my desk, and I would have more
having your home just be your home again would probably be really nice.
It'd be nice, and I miss going to some of the restaurants in the Skyway for lunch and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna miss, after dropping Leo off at school, I'm not gonna miss driving into work. I'm not gonna miss having to pay for parking because that's a huge expense I have not had to deal with for over 2 years.
Can you buy do you do like a monthly thing or you just pay daily?
I had a monthly plate. I had a ramp I paid monthly for.
Okay.
It's cheaper than daily, and the nice thing is through this one thing you can do it it's actually taken out of your check pre-tax.
Okay.
So there's that. There at least is that. But some people pay daily, I think, which is madness.
That would be so expensive. You think monthly in the end saves you quite a bit.
It does. But some people, even though they're monthly, they're parking in lots that are so expensive because they're very close to the building. I was only a block away, and I think I was paying like $50 less a month than some people that wanted to park under the building.
Right.
It's like just walk a block. I don't know. That's just me though. So, and there are some things that I'm still not able to do because I'm working from home, which I would be able to do again if I'm in the office. So it would make my job slightly easier, but I don't care enough about that to want to go back yet.
Right.
And I don't know why people are pushing for some kind of hybrid option because we don't have laptops. It's a cloud little tower and monitors and keyboard and mouse. So if we were really trying to do a hybrid option, I doubt they would issue everybody that does it laptops. So you're lugging all your desktop computer equipment back and forth during the week to and from work, just to work from home some days and work in the office some days.
Yeah. See, it's different at my job for the people that did work from the office, people that ended up working from home, because their desk computers at work stayed at work.
Right.
And they remoted into them.
Yeah. What they did for us is says, take your computer and take it home. Like, here's a box, load all your stuff from your desk. My work desk is empty.
Yeah.
So if they weren't planning on issuing everybody laptops, like not even at the beginning, like any time throughout this last 2.5 years, if they wanted to, they could have like gradually issued out laptops to people so they could remote in and then come back to, so I don't foresee that happening at all because I don't know where obviously there's some management people and some other departments that have laptops and they bring those in when they work. They usually work from their laptops in the office.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of employees they're not going to issue a laptop to everybody who wants to work from home some days a week. So I don't know why. I think people don't think of that stuff when they say like, well, we should get some sort of hybrid option to work from home some days. I don't think they think about the logistics of it and how unlikely it is that it would be. When they make it seem like it's impossible to have some people allowed to work 410s, you know.
Yeah, I've wanted that so bad. Like, because I already work 10-hour days typically anyways, but I do it 5 days a week. But if it ever slowed down, I would love to do 410s.
To keep, yeah.
Yeah, like me and this other guy, we would just switch off like one, like, you know, maybe one of us would do Tuesday through Friday, the other guy would do Monday through Thursday, so that we're each there at least, so we're not both off the same day.
Yeah.
But then the thing would be that if we did it, then we'd have to offer it to all the other people, and then it would become a whole thing. So just like it's never gonna happen.
The funny thing is, my company offered it to a certain group. And so some people do have 410s now, but it's only like one group that has it. And I don't know if it was meant to be. I don't know if it was meant to be a trial. That the way this place operates, you would think that everything would be based on seniority. So like the people that have the highest seniority would get first dibs on it. But I don't know if it's because of their work function. Like maybe they don't need to be there available to take inbound calls or something most of the time. So I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to open it up to anybody else, but I had one job with 410s and it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually worked a job that gave me that option.
The juice factory was 410s.
Oh, yeah.
So we would get off at like 3 p.m. or something on Thursday, and that's when the weekend started.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But then you have to go in at 5 a.m. the next Monday.
Yeah. And sometimes it was, we had to work extra, so it'd be there was a stretch where we were doing 12-hour days, so it was 4 12s.
Yeah. That's still
not as bad, but the worst part was it was 2 shifts. So you would come into work, and then the people that worked overnight would leave. And then before you left, those same people would come back.
Oh, God.
To work. So you're seeing, it's like a crazy realization, like, oh my God, the entire time I've been here, they've gone home, had meals, did whatever, went to bed, and like slept their whole night, the whole day, the whole night, and then got up, got ready for work, and came back to work. And I've been here the entire time.
Yeah. And then the same thing.
So it's crazy. Yeah, same thing happens to them. It's worse for them because they're working overnight. I was working during the day.
Still, when you're working 12 hours, then you really almost have no time to do anything. Because then it's like, well, I have to be back to work in 12 hours. If I want to get a decent night's sleep, I legitimately have 4 to 5 hours to really do anything now.
Yeah, but that's why the 4 days a week made it doable, because you had so much weekend time.
Yeah, because there for a while there, for a long stretch, I was working 10-hour days, 6 days a week.
That's
for
gross.
Almost a full year. I did that. That got rough, but I also got very used to it. But then it got a bit rough. I've been doing 10-hour days, 5 days a week with occasional Saturdays since February now, and that's starting to get a little old.
You gotta stop having jobs like that.
Well, it's a combination of things that kind of happened with COVID. Everything got really messed up with like shipping and logistics and things. So like we're having trouble getting product. So there was a long stretch of time where we just really couldn't get any orders out. So now things are starting to kind of trickle in. So then we're just getting hit now with all these, being able to clear all these back ordered orders out.
Yeah.
So to stay on top of what we can normally get out anyways, and then also work any back orders that get cleared, we've been working extra hours. But on top of that, 2 of the people in my department have been on work restrictions since February. So what they can do and the amount of work they can get done in a week has gone from like, it's at least halved what they've been able to get done. So me and the other guy have been having to pick up all that slack. So we're the only 2 people that do all the overtime. Nobody else is there for that extra 2-hour stretch every single day.
Yeah. It should rotate. Like you shouldn't always be the one that has to do it.
there's nobody else in our department that could. That's the problem. Just me and that guy are the only two people in that department that can work the overtime that department needs to have done.
Yeah.
So, because the other two are on restriction, so really doesn't make sense for them to come in early and work 2 extra hours of restricted work time.
Would they hire temps for anything?
It's so difficult. We've brought in temps, but to get somebody trained in to be able to do the work, just to be able to do some of the work, you're talking about the first full week of just training just to get them to be able to kind of do it with still having assistance. It's a good couple months of training to get somebody up to the full speed of being able to just work by themselves and not screw shit up. So, and then throwing an extra person in there doesn't even make it easier, because now you have another person that's in that area trying to work, and it's extra bodies don't really help. It just actually kind of makes it worse because you're stumbling over each other eventually, because there's just not enough room for everybody to work. So I don't know, it's complicated and shitty and weird, and nothing makes it better.
You have to do all this extra work because two of the people can't do the work because they're on restricted whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're also saying that if there were more than 2 people doing the work, people would get in the way.
No, if there's more people brought into the amount of people we already have in that area, it would get 2 in the way.
Got it.
Plus, the 2 people that are on restriction literally do not work well with others. So trust me, it's this whole big ordeal of shit that I could get into, but it's just me bitching. It sounds
like if you've gotten yourself settled in as someone who can do a lot of the work and that's it. Like, you're the one that has to do all the extra work.
Yep, pretty much. Me and the other guy. Yeah.
You're talking your way out of another solution and saying it would be too difficult to make it easier for you.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. So you're working 5, sometimes 6 days a week because it would be too hard to make it so you don't have to do that.
It sounds counterintuitive, but yes.
It does. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy any of this. I think you like being in this position and saying, "Oh, I just got to work all the time."
The job security is great.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I would love for it to be easier, but the thing that would make it the easiest is these 2 people not being on work restriction anymore.
Well, how long is that?
To be honest, nobody fucking knows.
They're gonna milk it. They're gonna milk it as long as they possibly can.
I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, neither one of them should actually be on restriction anymore.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. I'm half convinced that they are not, but just aren't saying anything, and my boss isn't getting any information, and so I don't know. It's all,
I hate that stuff too, because usually work restriction is involving some sort of medical thing, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe an injury or maybe something like that. And so you can't go to your boss and be like, "Hey, these people shouldn't be on restriction anymore. They need to help out," because you can't legally say something like that.
Yeah, and I don't have the information that they are
right.
Whatever they're getting from their doctors. And I know it's all going through workman's comp and everything because they're work-related injuries, supposedly. Yeah.
So just get injured.
At what point? Well, the thing is, like, during that time, I actually did hurt myself minorly at work, but it still had to go under work comp. And I felt like shit because of it, because, like, I literally, like, I was moving something and my finger, I think I showed it to you, when my finger got pinched between. Yeah. We talked about it on here. And I had to go. It was
such a minor thing, and it ended up being like it could have been so much worse than it
could have been horrible. It was just a tiny little pinch, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then it started getting infected, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So I had to go in. I did not want to put it under workman's comp claim, but because it happened at work, I legally had to. Like, the doctor legally would not treat me, or basically my insurance would not have covered any of it because it happened at work.
It happened at work.
So I had to do workman's comp, and I felt like shit because other people had already been on, these 2 people had been on workman's comp since February. And I'm just like, I just don't want to go to my job and also be like, and also me on workman's comp. And then another guy hurt his leg a little bit after that too, and he went on workman's comp. It was just like, oh my God, like, everybody's falling apart around here, and my boss has just got to be like, what the fuck is going on? So
you would think, it's surprising that I mean, obviously there might be budgetary restrictions and things like that, but you would think you would try to do something that would allow for more help to be brought in temporarily to at least get the orders out, because that should be more important than just making a couple people work 6 days a week to try to get some of the extra work done.
I mean, without going into a ton of boring detail of like what my job entails and like why it would be hard to just bring in a temporary employee, it's very specialized work as far as like, because everything has to be within a margin of error. So here's a question. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about your department,
my department, right? Alone, yes.
Is there anyone from other departments that would have any maybe limited experience with what you guys do that could be brought in to help, and then temporary people come in to fill in for what they do, like maybe more entry level stuff?
Okay, 2-part answer. Yes, there's other people that could come and help our department from other departments. There's 2 guys that could do it.
Oh.
One of the guys is the only person in his department, and he basically builds these big machine tank things. He's the only guy who does it. So he can't be pulled.
Sure.
The other guy is the shipping receiving guy who's been there for like 20 something years, or not the shipping receiving. He's the shipping specific guy. And
he won't do it.
He could probably, well, it's a combination of he won't do it, and we probably don't want him to come do it because he just fucking complains about everything all the damn time. So he came back and helped us last week a little bit, but just because he had nothing better to do. So he came back and like helped do some stuff, but it's not, he helped do like packaging stuff, not like actually getting stuff built. So
it sounds like this company is okay with making some people have to work really hard so that other people don't get, so they don't have to deal with other people who would complain a lot about having to do more work. You're someone who's going to do all the work and not you're someone who's going to do all the work and not complain about it, and never complain about it, so nothing will ever change. And there's a bunch of people who will just complain the whole day away, and so they don't have to do any of the extra work because they don't want to deal with the person being someone who's complaining a lot. So if you just start complaining all the time, you could be someone who's considered someone who's difficult, and they wouldn't pull you. They wouldn't have you do all this extra work.
That's not in my nature at all to be complaining like that. Trust me, I've bitched about certain things, and some stuff gets fixed and some stuff doesn't. I've just learned over the years of what is worth fighting for and what isn't. And oddly enough, when it comes down to it, bringing in extra people to help out is kind of the worst thing to do.
So
but it's weird. We're in a weird spot though, where it's like, yeah, we're behind on stuff, but my boss kind of isn't worried about it. He's just like, we just get done what we can get done. So
well, then why work overtime?
Because we still need to be on top of it. So it's a multi-layered thing.
You're contradicting yourself. You're saying, yeah, well, whatever, we're behind, but we just get done what we can. But you better work 60, 70 hours a week so we can get caught up on this stuff.
So because we've been working 60, 70 hours a week is the only reason why it's still kind of like, hey, what we can't get done, we can't get done. You can only get as much done as we can. If we hadn't been working all that overtime, we would be 2 to 3 times as far behind as we are right now.
Is your boss helping with any of this, or is he just sitting in his office?
He is oddly helping in a completely different department that's also behind. That's worse behind, actually.
So the boss of your department is helping another department?
No, this is the boss.
Oh, the boss.
We don't have bosses of departments. We have the boss/owner of the company. Oh, he's been working in a different department every single day, early and late, to keep that department afloat, because that department currently only has one person in it
that complains about working too hard.
He also complains a lot. Yes.
Yep.
It's interesting. It seems like the only people that don't complain about a lot of stuff are me and the guy that work a shit ton of overtime.
Yeah. What's that tell you?
I don't know.
Start complaining and you won't have to work overtime anymore.
No, I mean, I honestly, in the end, I don't mind the overtime that much. It's whatever. I get very used to it.
Your free time isn't as important.
Do you know what I use my free time for, Sean?
Maybe because you don't have as much of it. You're like, well, you just surrender to the fact that you can't.
No, I don't.
You could do more.
Fuck. I don't give a fuck about doing anything, really, usually. I could have been out and about doing all sorts of stuff yesterday. Guess what I did? I chilled at home all day. I didn't do shit. I haven't done shit today either. I went to the store because we were out of water.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
You didn't just order some delivery?
No. I'm not
Instacart?
No. I'm not going to. I've never done that. Never done Instacart.
I've done it a bunch.
Yeah. Never tried it.
The thing that sucks is you're not doing the shopping. So
so depending on what you're buying, like I wouldn't want to buy produce that way.
No, that's risky. And
because they're just going to grab whatever's on top.
A lot of times you get some not the best produce. And then sometimes I get the feeling that a bunch of stuff, either they don't look very hard for it or they don't know where to look. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh, couldn't find this item. Replace it with this. Couldn't find this. Replace it with this. Couldn't find. There's so many things that they say that they just can't find.
Right.
And they want to replace it with some other alternative item. And so
we couldn't find spaghetti sauce. Would you like taco sauce?
Would you like marinara sauce? No, but I always wonder, like, I always think, I bet you if I went to the store right now, I could find it. I could find what you say isn't there.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you're the one who works at the grocery store. You should know where everything is. They don't work at
the grocery store.
Oh, really?
There are people that are Instacart shoppers. They go to the store and shop for you, and then they deliver the food. Weird. So they don't work at the grocery store. It was
like you order specifically from like the grocery store itself, and the grocery store employee does that.
There are ways you can order that way too. Like I think Cub does that, and I think Lunds and Byerly's does that, and I think Target even does that. I think you can do that, which maybe would be better. I've never tried ordering directly from a store itself.
I feel like that would be way better because the person that works at the store is going to know where everything is, or they at least should know where everything is, or at least have a proximity of where to find everything that they need to find. Whereas, an Instacart person's just like, they're no better than any other person just walking into the grocery store and not having to be able to find anything. But if you're working for Instacart, you should go out of your way to be able to be trying to find everything and asking a store member where some specific item is. And then at that point, you can't find it because they're out.
I mean, some might do that, but it's going to be like anything else. It's going to be like anything else. There are some people that are going to really care and try to do a good job. Then there's some people that are just going to try to get through each job as quickly as possible and move on to the next one.
So then get more tips jobs in and get more money. Yeah.
Right. Which is more likely what's going on. There's more people that are probably just trying to zip through your order, get checked out, and move on to the next one as quickly as possible so they can bring in more money for their hourly, to bring up their hourly numbers,
Right.
So
like an Uber Eats or something.
Yeah.
Where there's like, I can pick up like 5 different orders and then deliver them all.
Yep. But then the thing that sucks with that is you're like, if I order something and then the driver's like, oh yeah, I'm running a little behind. I have another order I picked up. It's like my order has to be late now because you decided you wanted to like grab a bunch of orders at once and deliver them all one by one after that. So why do I have to have a delayed? I called to order something and I just say ASAP, deliver it ASAP. But I ordered this earlier on and I set a time. I wanted it to be delivered by this time.
Right.
And it was well over a half an hour after that it finally showed up. And I called the store and they said, oh, well, you would think they'd be more, oh, I'm so sorry that happened because they're choosing to use this delivery service to deliver their food versus them just doing it themselves. So in a way, it's like that delivery service represents them.
Right.
But the guy was very quick to say that once the driver takes it, well, there's nothing we can do. It sucks. We're stuck here in the store, which is true. But at the same time, then either don't offer to have a scheduled delivery.
Right.
Or be more apologetic when the driver that picks up the food sucks.
Yeah, but it really comes down to, that driver. And then, if they picked up your food within a time where they would still get to your house they should still be able to get to your house by the time you specified delivery, and then they still took a half hour longer, that's on the driver. And then at that point, I'd refute any delivery extra driver like delivery fee. Yeah, back to whatever company is the driver works for. I
don't remember how it went down, if they got there in time, but I think they picked up the food late or something. I don't remember. But
so they got held up by some other freaking thing. But then because I'm assuming, say it's an Uber Eats I'm assuming it's the same as like an Uber, where it kind of calculates who's the closest within an area, and then it pops up, and then you can be like, accept or deny that pickup, right? If you are in a position where it comes up and it should show you hopefully a delivery time needed, I'm not sure how it all looks, but if you can't make that time, don't accept it. That's on the driver at that point.
Right. And it has it all figured out, because
right.
I've never driven for Uber. I've never done Uber Eats, but I've had it where I will get a request for a scheduled ride. Like someone said they want to ride at like 6 p.m. or whatever.
Okay.
And they scheduled it. This is hours ago, and I get notified hours ago, and it's like, okay, I know this person's going to need to be picked up by 6, and it will stop sending me new ride requests when it gets close enough to that 6 o'clock, so I have time to drive to them from where I am.
Right. It's like, so you're 20 minutes away from that pickup right now. We're not going to give you another ride because it's going to take you 20 minutes to get there. And
yeah. So anything that's regarding food delivery, especially if it's Uber Eats, because it's the same company, I would imagine they have the same restrictions built in so that you don't find yourself 40 miles away dropping something off, and now there's no way you can make it in time to get this scheduled delivery that you agreed to do.
Right.
So they have to have it all figured out. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. They wouldn't offer that service if they couldn't do it. But I don't know why this particular scenario. This is the first time I'd ever tried that. Every time I ordered some kind of food to get delivered, it's always just ASAP. And so I'm always like accepting whatever time they say it's going to get here, and I'm not expecting anything else. But for some reason, this was like, well, I scheduled it 4 hours ago to be delivered at this time. How is this not, why am I? The thing that sucked the most was every time I refreshed the status, it just kept saying 14 minutes away. So it's not like 4 minutes later it said it was 10 minutes away. It just kept saying 14 minutes, 14 minutes, 14 minutes, 14 minutes.
Weird.
And I think that is because the driver at that point still hadn't picked up the food. I think it would then start counting down once the food's actually on the way here. Anyway.
Right.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one that's experienced this. I'm sure that's happened several times over. But
I typically don't use any of those delivery services because, for one, there's extra fee for it, and it's just like we order food online all the time, but I always just go pick it up. I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to go get it because I don't want to deal with delivery fees. I don't want to deal with waiting for my food. I don't want to deal with potential of my food being cold by the time it gets here. Any of that. It's like I can order it now and leave immediately, and then I can either my food will be ready by the time I get there, or I'll have to wait there for a couple minutes, but then I have my food hot and fresh immediately. And then it's just the time it takes me to get home that the food isn't, is losing temperature.
Yeah, I
just don't want to deal with any of that shit.
At the house in Minneapolis, there was a Domino's that I want to say was a 2-minute drive.
Right.
And if you wanted to have that delivered, a lot of times it would say it would take 40 to 45 minutes.
Right.
And I think it would cost about $8 or so more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, usually I'm fine with delivery because something might be 10, 15 minutes away. But this was like, I always drove there. It made zero sense for me to wait for that delivery. But you're right. If you drive there to pick it up yourself, you're going to get it faster.
Yeah.
And
then you can check your food too to make sure you've got everything or it's made properly or anything like that. I've had that issue several times. I've gone to I ordered a pizza from somewhere, went there and picked it up. They gave it to me. I went and checked it in the car. It was the completely wrong pizza. They gave me somebody else's pizza.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, thank God. So I went back inside and traded it out. But
had you waited for that to be delivered, you would have been completely out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you either wait for another delivery to come by that they replace it with, which will take forever, or you just have to go, well, I guess we're eating something else. And now you're waiting for a refund from
that actually happened recently. We ordered a pizza and it came wrong. And I called them and then we had to wait for another pizza to come.
Fun.
Yeah.
Did they offer you anything in addition to just replacing the pizza?
I just kept the pizza that they gave us incorrect.
Well, no, they couldn't take the pizza back. Oh, you didn't even get a second delivery?
No, we did. Yeah, we got. They sent us a new pizza, and we just kept the other one that we had, and it was fine. Well,
they wouldn't have been able to take the pizza back, but they didn't offer anything else like for the inconvenience, like here's a $10 off voucher for your next order or anything like that.
No, I mean, in the end, we got an extra pizza out of the deal, I guess. So it's not. I wasn't really upset about it. Basically, it's what happened is they forgot to put the pepperoni on the first pizza. So everything was correct except it had no pepperoni on it. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, pepperoni is the number one ingredient people put on a pizza.
Yeah.
Of a meat. It is the top tier pizza meat.
Yeah.
How the F do you forget to put the pepperoni on? And it said pepperoni on the little sticker on the box.
Yeah.
So it was on there. It's not like we screwed up. So I'm just like, really? The of all things, I'm like, you could have forgotten any of the other ingredients and I would have been like, yeah, it happens.
There was this one time Sarah liked to get stuff like olives and green peppers and that kind of thing on pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I was never big on that. So a lot of times we would get a pizza where it's half one thing, half the other thing.
Yeah.
And one time I remember if it was Domino's, I think I was trying to order it and I accidentally switched it. So there was only sauce on my half of the pizza.
No cheese or anything.
I think, no, as in her half didn't get sauce.
Oh no.
I somehow moved all the sauce over to my side saying that only my half got sauce and her half it had the cheese, it had the green peppers, it had everything else. There was just no sauce on it.
Oh, that'd be awful. It's just a cheese bread.
A cheese bread with some veggies on it. Yeah, it was not good and it didn't go over too well.
I can imagine.
And I think recently around that time I had a string of like mess ups like that where I like screwed some kind of order up and so it was just like that. It was like kind of almost, it wasn't like the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was like, again, another one, you know.
Your ordering privileges were revoked.
Yeah. But it was like it was never like the ordering process was never handed over. It was always still me having to do it, even though I kept screwing up.
She had to supervise you eventually.
Yeah.
Now read it back to me.
Pretty much. It was almost like, okay, here, peruse and review and give me the okay or not. Or you can press order. I don't know. I forget. I don't think it got to that point, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I just want to have the food I wanted for once. I'm like, mine's fine. Mine's
well, yeah, of course. Yours is always going to be fine. Got messed up.
But there was also something really funny, and I don't know why this happened, but I would look like both things would be ordered correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if Leo, once Leo came into the picture, like all the food was ordered correctly. I'm looking at it. Sarah's one was the one that something got messed up on.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah. And I'm always like, I don't know, mine's fine. Boop,
yep.
Boop, I'm going to enjoy my food. And so, yeah, there was a lot of unhappy dinners just because of some weird circumstance that seems to always befall onto the other person and never me. So,
and then you have to sit there while they're upset about their food, and you're just like,
it'd be like,
I kind of want to enjoy my meal here.
Well, I would offer my food. I'm like, here, take this. Like, eat this food.
Yep.
Nope. And she's like, it's always like, I don't want that food. I wanted, the food I wanted, and
which is understandable.
Yeah, of course.
But
you know, if you want, soup, and I order a sandwich, you're like, well, I don't want a sandwich.
So many times I've had to drive back places to get shit fixed, and
I've driven back a lot. I've made lots of calls complaining about mess ups and having to go in and get everything fixed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And by that time, then you get back, your food's cold.
Oh yeah.
And their food's nice and piping hot.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, this is my situation now. This is my reality.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is my life. My favorite was, I think you were still in Big Lake, and I was over at your house once, and we ordered, I don't remember what we ordered. We ordered food for some reason, probably a pizza or something. Probably it was to eat. It was definitely to eat. We weren't doing anything experimental with it, but I don't remember what we ordered, but we decided in the special notes to put no eye contact.
What?
Because you can put special notes for the delivery person,
right? Like leave a door or something like that.
Like come to the back door, ring bell, knock, whatever. And we put no eye contact, and the person.
Don't remember this.
Oh, you don't remember this?
No.
Oh, it was great. The food came. We both went to the door. We're like, we'll see if this worked. Dude did not look at us.
Oh my gosh. I wish it
was great.
I'm
surprised you forgot that. That was so funny.
I have everything just left at the door now, so I never interact with a delivery person. So that wouldn't work nowadays. But if I ever come to the point where I'm actually accepting the stuff from the person at the door, I might try that again. That's a pretty
it was pretty great. The delivery guy did not look at either one of us, and we were looking at him in the face to make sure.
I hope we gave that person a decent tip then, considering they obeyed the wishes.
I'm sure we did tip ahead of time or whatever on it. So
there was when you're driving Uber, if you do Uber Comfort, I think you can make requests. Like maybe you want the temperature to be a certain amount, or maybe you want this or that, whatever. The earlier this year was the first time I ever heard that, because I'm pretty sure my other car, my sedan I drove with, I don't think qualified. I think since I have a mid-size like SUV type of vehicle now, that you can accept Uber Comfort rides. And so it threw me off. The very first one I ever got, it says, "No talking, please."
Interesting.
So aside from like the confirming it's the right person you're picking up, and then just this and that, it was just a silent ride. I think it was an airport run maybe, but yeah, no talking, which I've had that plenty of times where it wasn't requested. The person just doesn't want to talk. But this was very specific.
Have they been like, "Please don't talk to me"? Like they get in the car and they're just like, "I prefer we don't have a conversation."
No, you could just tell.
Yeah.
Like you'll get in, say hi, how you doing, blah, blah, whatever, and then they just bury their face in their phone and they don't even try to say anything to you. I let the rider dictate how much talking there is. So some people are very chatty and some people are just not. Especially if it's a group, they'll all be talking to each other in the back, and then you're just driving.
And then you're just like, "Yeah, right, guys."
Yeah,
just trying to jump in.
Sometimes it's just one person back there, and they just don't talk.
Right.
Yeah. I think I told you recently, I don't know if I said it on here or not, but I told you about the person who was told someone to sit on it and sit on their finger and spin or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Yeah. And what I almost said, which I think I should have said, but
yeah. No, next time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, next time when that happens.
If I ever pick them up again.
Right.
I had some guy offer to, he goes on these camping trips with his buddies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, how old are you? Like, what do you like to do? I'm like, "Oh, I'm this though. I'm in this age. I like to, I like to go camping, but I don't really ever do it." "Oh yeah, well, my friends and I were a good group of guys. Like, you should come along." Meeting me once, and I drove him somewhere. I dropped him off somewhere. He's like, yeah. And he said he was going to give me his info when it was all over.
And he never did.
But he never did, but I didn't ask for him. I'm like, "Hey, where's that number?" Or yours. I know.
You may have lucked out. He maybe would have murdered you.
Probably. I mean, not probably, but more than unprobably.
Yeah. And if I've learned anything from scarymommy.com, 1/3 of murders go unsolved in the United States. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
We are on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HSFamousPod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.